What if you discovered that the person who won't leave your mind was never really there to begin with? Carl Jung once wrote to a student, "Obsession is the soul's cry for parts of itself that were exiled in the shadows." Have you ever wondered why certain people occupy your thoughts like unwanted tenants? Why does your heart keep racing for someone you know deep down isn't meant for you? The answer lies in one of humanity's most enigmatic texts, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and in Jung's psychology, which saw it as a map to decipher the secrets of the human mind. Obsession isn't about love, jealousy, or desire. It's about an internal war, a part of yourself that's been denied, exiled, and now rebels, wearing another person's face as a mask. The Bardo Thodol calls this the theater of illusions, where we project our demons and gods onto others. Jung would say it's the shadow demanding a seat at the table of your consciousness. By the end of this video, you won't just understand why this person lives in your mind, you'll master an unexpected method, part Tibetan ritual, part analytical psychology, to transform this obsession into self-knowledge. You'll learn how to identify which unlived part of you is expressing itself through the other person, break the cycle of psychological karma keeping you trapped, free yourself from the prison of projection, and reclaim your inner power. As Jung said, nothing heals faster than facing what you've feared your whole life. And today you're going to do exactly that. Before we continue, pause for 3 seconds. Ask yourself, what is this obsession trying to teach me about myself? The answer might surprise you. Obsession as a projection of the psyche. Have you ever wondered why certain people haunt your mind like ghosts that refuse to leave? In Tibet, there's a sacred text called the Bardo Thodol, a guide for the dead, that reveals something astonishing. The visions we experience after death aren't external spirits, but projections of our own mind. Just like these visions, obsession with someone is a reflection of something living inside you. Today, we'll explore what this mirror is trying to show you. Imagine walking through a hallway of distorted mirrors. Your mind is exactly like this corridor. Each mirror reflects a different part of you, some radiant, others shadowed. When you obsess over someone, you're standing frozen in front of one of these mirrors, hypnotized by an image that, at its core, is your own creation. As the Bardo Thodol teaches, all you see is yourself. Real-life example. Take Clara, a patient who couldn't forget her ex-partner. She believed he was her missing half, until she realized he mirrored her own repressed courage. Her obsession wasn't about him. It was about the part of herself she was too afraid to express. Like the deities in the Bardo, he was a projection, a coded message from her psyche she couldn't decipher. Pause and ask yourself, what does this person stuck in your mind reveal about you? Could they be showing you something you need to see, but keep refusing to face? In the next few minutes, you won't just understand the root of your obsession, you'll discover how to turn it into profound self-knowledge. Because as Jung once said, who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. The shadow and the object of obsession. Every forest has its dark corners, places where light never reaches, where unknown creatures hide. Your psyche has such a place too, the shadow. As Jung once said, the shadow is a moral problem that challenges the whole personality. And it's in this darkness that obsession takes root. But what does this have to do with the Tibetan Book of the Dead? Everything. In the Bardo Thodol, after death, consciousness encounters wrathful deities, terrifying faces that are actually fragments of the mind itself. These figures are mirrors of the shadow, rage, fear, desire. When you obsess over someone, you're staring at one of these deities. It's not about them. It's about what they reveal in you. A secret Tibet has known for centuries. The monster you fear is yourself. Case study, take Eduardo, who despised his boss. He saw a tyrant, until analysis revealed his boss mirrored Eduardo's own repressed anger. He'd buried his assertiveness in the shadow, then projected it outward. Like the Bardo's deities, his boss was a messenger. What you cannot be, you see, in others. Now ask yourself, is what you criticize most in others exactly what you deny in yourself? What if this person who troubles you is actually a teacher sent by your own soul to liberate you? In the coming steps, you'll discover how to transform this obsession into a tool for liberation. Because as the Bardo Thodol teaches, even demons are guides in disguise. Anima animus, the archetype of idealized love. There's an ancient secret that artists and lovers know well. Every muse is a reflection of the soul. In his work, Jung called this the anima and animus, the archetypes of feminine and masculine, that we all carry within. As he wrote in Ion, a man who doesn't recognize his anima is doomed to project it onto real women, turning them into chimeras. This is how obsession begins, when we mistake a human being for an archetype. In the Bardo Thodol, the first visions after death are of peaceful deities, beings of light radiating infinite love. But the text warns, they're not external divinities, but projections of the purified mind. Similarly, when we idealize someone, we're seeing our own anima or animus, not the real person. As the Tibetan text states, the beauty you worship is your own heart. Case study. Consider Laura, who saw her partner as the perfect man, brave, wise, invincible, until the day he lost his job and she panicked. Why? Because Laura didn't love him, but the projection of her own animus, the courage she had denied within herself. Like the Bardo's deities, he was a mirror she feared to face. Ask yourself honestly, what quality do you most admire in this person who won't leave your mind? What if I told you that quality already exists within you, but is imprisoned in your shadow? In the next topic, we'll explore how the Bardo Thodol explains the trap of psychological karma in these relationships. You'll discover a Tibetan method to reclaim your projections, a technique Jung taught patients like Laura. Because as the sacred text declares, freedom lies in recognizing you are the creator of all your gods and demons. The Bardo of relationships, the illusion of separation. Across all cultures, bridges symbolize passage from the known to the unknown, from life to death. In the Bardo Thodol, this is the intermediate state where the disoriented mind creates illusions to avoid emptiness. But there's a bridge we all cross daily, the one separating self and other. As Jung wrote in Memories, Dreams, Reflections, the ego is the great architect of separation and love its grandest illusion. In the Bardo, we learn that separation is a lie. The visions of loved or feared beings are projections of a mind unable to accept unity. When you obsess over someone, you're trapped on this imaginary bridge, believing you need the other to be complete. The Tibetan text warns, cling to an illusion and you'll be reborn in your own hell. Case study, Mariana couldn't bear loneliness. After a breakup, she saw her ex as her bridge to happiness. But in analysis, she discovered he was just a reflection of her own refusal to confront herself. She projected onto him the savior persona, a mask Jung describes as the facade hiding the internal abyss. Just as the Bardo Thodol teaches, Mariana was trapped in her own relational bardo, where the other was merely a ghost of her unmet needs. Now ask yourself, what do you most fear losing in this person? What if this loss is actually the fear of facing what's already missing within you? In the next topic, I'll reveal how the Bardo Thodol explains the psychological karma keeping you stuck in this cycle and a Tibetan ritual to dissolve this illusion. Because, as the text says, the moment of liberation is now or never. The trap of psychological karma. Karma isn't just cosmic fate. It's a prison we build with every unquestioned thought. In his research, Jung discovered that what we call destiny is often just complexes, psychic patterns repeating like echoes of unresolved past. As he wrote in a little-known manuscript, karma is the shadow you insist on carrying, even while holding the key to your freedom. And the Bardo Thodol reveals how this key works. In the Tibetan text, karma is described as a whirlwind of illusions. The tighter you cling to patterns, the faster it spins, creating new cycles of suffering. Obsession is one such cycle. You replay old stories because deep down you believe you deserve that pain. The Bardo Thodol warns, you'll be reborn into the same story until you recognize it as your own creation. Case study: Ricardo always pursued domineering women. Analysis revealed he was reenacting his relationship with his mother, an unconscious karmic debt. He didn't love these women, but the symbolic chance to win a childhood battle. As Jung told him, "You're not loving. You're rewriting a script that should have ended long ago." Answer with brutal honesty. What pattern have you repeated for years, even as it destroys you? What if this repetition isn't an accident, but a self-punishment ritual you created? In the next topic, you'll discover a Bardo Thodol method to break these cycles, a practice Jung taught Ricardo and others, because as the text says, the door to freedom opens only once. Step through, or illusion will seal it forever. Liberation, recognizing the projection. The human mind is the ultimate puppet theater. You believe you're the audience, but in truth you're both the puppeteer and the puppet. As Jung wrote in Archetypes and the Collective Unconscious, to project is to watch a play you yourself wrote while forgetting you're the author. Liberation begins when you cut the strings and realize everything you see in others is an act from your own drama. In the Bardo Thodol, liberation occurs when consciousness recognizes that terrifying or alluring visions are creations of the mind itself. The text teaches, don't flee, don't fight, just observe, and you'll see the monster is made of mist. Similarly, obsession dissolves when you realize that person is merely a reflection of something you've refused to face in yourself. Case study: Sophia spent years obsessed with a man who betrayed her. In analysis, she understood. He mirrored her own self-betrayal, the abandonment of her dreams. By recognizing the projection, she did what the Bardo Thodol calls burning the stage of illusion. As she confessed, I realized I wasn't in love with him, but with the part of myself I'd buried. Now ask yourself, what would you need to admit about yourself to break free from this obsession? What if this person is just a shattered mirror showing parts of yourself you fear to repair? In our final topic, I'll reveal a Bardo Thodol ritual to transform projections into self-knowledge, a practice taught to Sophia that can liberate you in under 10 minutes. Because, as the text declares, freedom isn't a destination, but a step. And that step is now. Practical exercise. Dialogue with the shadow. Deep in your psyche lies a secret courtroom. Here you serve as judge, defendant, and executioner. As Jung wrote in The Practice of Psychotherapy, the shadow only surrenders when we invite it to sit at our table and speak as an equal. Today you'll do exactly that, an exercise the Bardo Thodol calls the final judgment of the deluded mind. Step-by-step practice. Write a letter to the person haunting your thoughts. Pour out everything: rage, desire, fear. Reread the letter, but replace their name with your own. Ask yourself, which part of me is screaming through these words? Burn the letter, visualizing flames consuming the projection. Just as visions dissolve in the bardo when recognized, you're releasing energy trapped in illusion. Case study: Anna agonized over unrequited love. Through this exercise, she discovered her letter actually described her own self-neglect. She'd abandoned her art and dreams, then projected that guilt outward. As she confessed after the ritual, "I realized I was the ghost that needed exorcising." Ask yourself now, what's the cost of not doing this exercise? How many more years will you waste in this imaginary tribunal? I'll reveal how the Bardo Thodol describes liberation and how you can experience it today. Because as the text reminds, because heaven isn't a place, but a way of seeing, and that vision is within your reach right now. From attachment to wholeness, like the butterfly, you weren't meant to live trapped in a cocoon of illusions. Everything we've explored, the shadow, the animus, psychological karma, these aren't obstacles, but sacred passages to wholeness. As Jung wrote in his diary, the soul only takes flight when it accepts its wings were forged in darkness. And the Bardo Thodol reminds us, even the most beautiful butterfly began as a caterpillar. Its splendor is the courage to transform. You've discovered, obsession is a mirror of your psyche. The shadow shouts through others. Idealized love is an escape from your inner power. Psychological karma is a cell you built yourself. Now you know, true liberation isn't about forgetting someone. It's about recognizing yourself in everything. The Bardo Thodol isn't a book about death. It's a manual for rebirth in this life. And as Jung told his patients, the greatest adventure isn't climbing mountains, but journeying through the valleys of your own soul. Today, you've received the map. Now, the journey is yours. Remember, those who look inward don't just awaken, they become infinite. Conclusion: today you've discovered that obsession isn't an accident. It's a map revealing the parts of yourself exiled in shadow, the archetypes you've projected onto others, the psychological karma repeating cycles of pain, and most importantly, the liberation found in this truth. Everything you seek in another already exists within you. As Carl Jung wrote in his private journals, the soul doesn't ask to be loved, it asks to be seen. The Bardo Thodol completes this thought. The greatest courage isn't facing death, but embracing the life that dwells within you. This is the journey you've begun today, transforming from spectator of your own drama to author of a new story. A story where love isn't a prison, but a mirror reflecting your wholeness. If this journey resonated with you, subscribe so you don't miss the next steps in this exploration. Share this video with someone who needs to hear, you're not trapped, you've just forgotten yourself. Comment, I'm ready to rebirth, your declaration that transformation has begun. Before you go, ask yourself, how many more lifetimes will you spend repeating patterns you already know how to break? The next page of your Bardo Thodol and your story awaits. Write it with courage, for as Jung would say, yesterday was a dream, tomorrow is illusion, now is the only moment when the soul can fly. How many versions of you remain trapped in others' cocoons? What if today were the day you let them fly?